Hi everyone, this is Leah Love again, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for all of those who have been watching me, and if you are new to this channel, I certainly hope you stick around. I am really excited today because I was reading a book and writing some notes, and I became so energized by the suggestions for those who are praying for their future spouse, and in this case for their future husband, because I love studying women's world, femininity, preparation for marriage, dating, and I also love giving advice on the same subjects to my clients. And so I'm really excited to share this. I was reading it and I thought, oh my gosh, I have to share this with the ladies. This is really good stuff. It took me back to the time when I was dating with purpose, which means you are dating for the purpose of marriage. You're not just dating for, the desire to have companionship or to go out to dinners or just meet new friends, but that you actually want a successful and healthy marriage. And so I am going to share with you 9 tips that are really important when you are preparing yourself for marriage and you are dating with purpose. And so I'd like to share these with you. So the first really important prayer for your future spouse that you have not yet met is the idea that you are praying that he resists temptation. Now, one of the things that was really powerful about this one is that it mentions the fact that while we are all single and, going about dating or perhaps preparing ourselves for dating and being ready, in all state of readiness for our future spouse, there can come opportunities to engage with other people that themselves are not serious about marriage but may have ulterior motives, or just simply to engage with people out of loneliness. Well, sometimes when we do that, that creates more problems in our lives than helps relieve whatever issue that we were hoping to, alleviate ourselves from. And so, dealing with the temptations of life, dealing with, just wanting to do things that may not even be sexually healthy in terms of the rampant amount of STDs out there in the world. There's the chance of pregnancy on both the woman's part as well as your future husband if he is having sex with a woman and not really just to pass the time or just to get released, so to speak, but he knows clearly that this is not the woman he would actually marry. But life is what it is, and we do know that people have needs. And so the prayer for keeping him free from temptation, or praying that he withstands certain temptations prior to meeting you, I thought was just an awesome idea. And then also, it releases us from certain soul ties. We, those who are more spiritually inclined do know that, the sexual exchange, even if not emotionally tying, it does have other ties. You are exchanging, body fluids with another person. You are exchanging energy. And if you're a woman, a man is entering into your body. And that is not something that just kind of happens and then you move on with your day. And particularly if you engage with this person sexually more than once, you will bring part of him with you, in other words. And sometimes it's just an energy in your aura field, or, there are, certain attachments that happen even if you're not emotionally attached with the person. And so gaining all of these unwanted soul ties that, you would do well to cleanse yourself from is really an unnecessary and unwanted energy that can affect your overall aura and your overall energy when you're trying to interact with other people or get close to other people. And I really just thought to myself, I don't want my future partner to have these type of soul ties. And I was very blessed with Eric, my husband, that he was indeed resisting temptation prior to meeting me. Life had it such that he's a very busy person. does not have and did not have a lot of time to date, and was just not very proficient at the online dating, since he didn't have a lot of time on land to meet certain people. And he had his standards very, very high, and he knew exactly what he wanted. So that allowed him to avoid being in a mental space where he was tempted by unnecessary scenarios in his life. So number 2 was praying for your future mate to know their calling in life and to also know their purpose. Now, this was really, really awesome for me, because that's part and parcel of what I like to do just in regards to my own life. I'm a huge fan of leveling up oneself and really getting yourself into a space where you are constantly seeking self-improvement. And in doing so, I was able to find my calling in life. I was able to find what I was passionate about and understanding what my purpose is in life. And since I was able to understand that, I was able to solidify the ideals that I wanted in my future husband. And that made it so much easier during the vetting process when dating. And it just really got me into a space where I was very clear on what I wanted and who I am, and who I was at the time when I was dating. And it just made so much sense to me to also desire a person who is also very, very much aware of their calling, that they're participating in activating their calling in life, and that gives them purpose. Because when a person has their calling and has their purpose and they really feel good about themselves, they will inevitably want to attract someone else who is also on that same wavelength, just in terms of their energetic footprint on life, so to speak. And that really, really helps when you are seeking a life partner, that this person shares your values, they share your energetic footprint, they share your desires, so your values, your energetic footprint, as well as your desires for yourself, for your family, for the world. And that allows you to have a deeper level of compatibility when you both know and are able to speak about your purpose and your calling, because that's certainly a conversation you want to have during your vetting and courtship. So that's number 2, which is knowing your purpose, or praying that your partner knows their purpose and their calling. Number 3 is, are they in alignment? So this is really interesting, because it's one thing to say that you know what you're here for, that you know your highest goals and desires, but it's another thing to be in alignment with it. And being in alignment with your purpose and desire, as well as your desire for marriage, allows you to live your life in a certain way. And when you're living your life in a certain way, you hold certain values and standards very, very important, and you create certain habits. You have a different outlook on life. You have a more positive and passionate outlook on life. And as you are doing these things and going through the motions of a life well lived and a life filled with purpose and passion, you are going to find yourself directing yourself or magnetizing people to you who have similar goals and values. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time with that person who is to be your life partner, and who values what you value, because you are holding the same type of energy. And I'm definitely a proponent and a student of the law of attraction. And I have spent some time studying how to gauge and how to adjust and how to elevate my own energy so that I'm aligned with my highest goals as much as possible. And the more that you're aligned, the more you position yourself to receive the things that you want. You make yourself available to that. And so if your future spouse, who you've not yet met, is in alignment with his calling, with his purpose, and with his desire to find his life partner, believe me, it makes it so much easier, and it shortens the time that you both are looking for one another. That is a firm belief for myself, and it somewhat reminds me of a story Eric was telling me, which was that 2 years prior to our meeting, he had really decided, I guess there was just a turning point in him where he decided to start cleaning out this home and just getting rid of years of clutter and making space, is what he was actually describing, is that he wanted to make space for his future spouse, because he realized that just something happened with him, that work was not enough for him, and he really wanted to find his life partner. He was really finally healed and in a space where, you know, from his previous marriage, that he was able to really step into a new life, and that would include a life partner and someone who really shared his dreams and his goals. And so he began by cleaning out his house. And so I thought that was really wonderful, because what that did was desire backed up by action. And by doing that, he was able to make space, and he was able to send a message out, you know, to the universe, to the creator, and to his highest good, that he's now ready. And because he's ready, he's going to take certain steps towards making space in his life and making room in his heart, in his home, for an incoming spouse. And so that's a great example of being in alignment. That was an action that he took that was like a signal, excuse me, a signal to him that he is now in alignment with that which he truly desires for his future. And another thing that we could pray for in regards to our future spouse is also that, you know, we pray that not only do we want our future spouse to have the traits that we desire, but we also come to understand that a person of that standing, with those values, with those standards, they also have desires for the traits that they want in their future wife. And so if you can imagine some of the best qualities that a loving, supportive, and good wife would have, though these are traits that you want to pray to yourself or for yourself, that you continue to develop within yourself. So as he is preparing a place for you and preparing space for you in his life, you also want to pray that, you know, you are preparing and making yourself the best that you possibly can be, so that you have so much more to share with your future spouse. And that's certainly what I did for several years leading up to my marriage. Is I really spent a lot of time healing from my previous divorce. I spent a lot of time journaling, affirmations, mantras, just being in the best shape that I possibly could. I started a workout program. I began to really analyze who I wanted to be, and the things that I really desired in my life. And then I asked myself, well, if this is what I desire for my future and for the future of my family, then who do I have to be in order to be aligned with that? And so that was a way in which I was able to kind of design a roadmap in terms of the development, the self-development, the self-investments that I needed to make in terms of taking courses, again, meditation, and simply doing the things that I know that certainly the man that I would desire to have in a wife, and ensuring that I'm in the best of both mental, physical, and emotional health when I do meet him. So I think that's a great prayer to pray, not only for him, but for yourself. So number 5 is freedom. You want to pray that he is free. And that's really, really huge. Because I've seen that a few times, and I speak on that quite a bit with my clients, but I guess it just kind of came together in a way that really took it to a whole nother level for me, in terms of praying that he is free in all areas of his life. So you want to pray that he is free from issues with a previous spouse. You want to pray that he is free mentally, that he's in a good space. You want to pray that he is free emotionally, that he's emotionally in a good space, that he's ready to take on a new relationship and open his heart. You want to pray that he is financially free, that he's not carrying lots of baggage and debt and not fully able to really enjoy his life. And free physically, meaning that he values his health, and that he works to keep himself healthy as much as he possibly can. And so these are all ways in which, you know, when you think about having an ultimate life, when you think about what would your future look like with your future husband, you know, it certainly would not and should not include taking on a bunch of baggage so that it burdens the relationship and it begins to tear you all apart. Because, you know, if he has baggage that he's not taking care of, then of course, as his spouse, it will fall on you to help him share those burdens. And you just really don't want to take that on with a healthy relationship. I've already been there and done that. So many of us women have. And we understand that in order to really focus on the things that are really important for furthering the family, the children, and creating a healthy home environment, certainly having either your spouse or yourself come to the new relationship with a lot of baggage is just a recipe for failure, in my opinion. So I thought that was extra wonderful advice to pray that he is free and that he has freedom in all aspects of his life. Another one is that I thought was really awesome was that, does he have a strong community of like-minded people? Does he surround himself with positive people, people who have the same goals, people who are success-oriented, people who are faith-oriented, who believe in strong values? Does he, carry the idea that, the people that are the closest to you will absolutely affect your life and your thinking and your mentality? And I have done that in my life. My closest friends and people that I talk to the most are extremely positive. They're excited about life. They are pro-marriage. They are pro-family. And they really value excellence. And so, as it said, that we are the sum of the top 5 people we spend the most time with. Well, that's very telling when you think about who you spend your time with. So you have to kind of look at who he keeps in his entourage, because certainly having people of homeboys or friends who don't value marriage, who might be single, not looking to ever get married, who are constantly out in the clubs or whatever, having friends like that will, even if he's a strong-minded man, it's just not healthy to have that energy around him when he's trying to build a new marriage with a new spouse. So you want to pray that he already has a lifestyle that is built around keeping positive, inspirational people around him who are nurturing their goals and who support his goals, and vice versa. So excellent advice. Number 7 is, you want to pray over your future union. In other words, you want to pray that you are spiritually and physically covered, that he is spiritually and physically covered, so that he makes his way to you safely, and that also you are building up a buffer in regards to your future union, so that you don't suffer, various attacks, for lack of a better word, meaning negativity towards your union, or people who are just not happy for you, or people who are not happy for his success, or for your success. So praying over the union that is yet to come, and that's not yet materialized in your life, is a wonderful way to begin to build up a positive energy around it. And then certainly keeping that going once you have met is really positive. But I think it helps to solidify your manifesting this relationship into your life, because you are living as if it is already available to you. And when you begin to live as if, you begin to increase the likelihood that like attracts likes, and that you are completely and 100% aligned with this relationship that you desire. So praying for the safety and health of that relationship is a great way to become more invested in aligning and manifesting this into your life. Another really good tip is praying for his clarity of mind. Now, I know I spoke about him understanding his purpose and calling, and him also being very clear that he is ready for a marriage, and he's doing what he has to do, emotionally healing from the past, whatever past wounds he may have, physically getting himself ready for a new partner, as well as financially preparing to, provide for a wife and family. But also, I want to say that it's really critical to have clarity of mind. As we all know, we may say, oh, well, I want this great car, but you haven't determined how you're going to go about receiving this car, meaning achieving this car into your life. You haven't thought about, car insurance and maintenance and gas and everything else that is going to come with this car, but you're simply saying that you want this car. But being very clear about the color of the car, for instance, or, the price range that you have in mind. Being more specific in terms of details will only help you to more easily attract exactly what you want into your life, as opposed to just saying to himself, well, I want to get married one day, I want to have a wife. But you've not really nailed down within yourself, do you want a wife with this particular personality? Do you want her to have these type of skills? Do you want her to be, extremely positive, nurturing? Do you want her to be attentive, not only to your needs, but to her needs? Do you want her to be health conscious? Do you want her to be a good cook? Do you want her to enjoy traveling, or do you prefer her to kind of be a homebody? Do you want her to enjoy reading or, doing things out in nature? Are you a nature buff? Are you wanting someone who has a little bit of financial literacy in their background to understand budgeting a family's budget and understanding your goals? Do you want her to have a certain level of education, just in terms of being able to understand, what you talk about when you come home from your job? Do you want her to also share the value of having a stay-at-home wife and mother to your children, or to your joint children if you both have children from another marriage? Do you want her to value children? Do you want her to value marriage in the sense that, she's learned from her past and she really wants to, make this last, that she consider this to be her last marriage, and not that, well, we'll see how it goes kind of attitude. So having that clarity of mind of knowing exactly who and what he wants will only further benefit your vetting and courting process, because when a person knows exactly what they want, it's so much more easy to get to know them and to align yourself with them. And it helps you not to waste time when you are going through the very, very serious courting and vetting process. It's really, really important to have clarity not only on his side, but as well as on yours. So I thought that was an excellent tip. And last but not least, is readiness. And I thought that this was really awesome as the 9th tip is, he might have his calling and purpose. He might have a good circle of friends. He might have a clarity of mindset in terms of what he's really and truly looking for. But that is still wonderful, but it's still different than actually making sure that he's actually ready. So we can have a lot of mental ideas about what we say we want in a relationship, but are we really ready? It means that once you get past the vetting and the courtship and the engagement, and you go through the excitement of the wedding, and now you are going through day-to-day marriage with someone, actually living with someone, being in the same space with someone, being open to that person emotionally, being ready for another heightened level of intimacy in terms of emotional intimacy, being ready and prepared to love unconditionally and to continuously build your friendship with one another, and building a level of commitment to the union that really requires energy. It requires space of mind and emotions. It requires a certain mentality of being ready for it and really, really wanting that in your life. And so, praying that he's ready, praying for his readiness for everything that he says that he wants in you is, I thought, a really wonderful tip, because, sometimes, again, like I said, we say we want something, but getting into it on the day-to-day can sometimes be a lot different than what we expected. And so taking the time to really envision and visualize your married life, and reading books on healthy marriages and how to communicate in a very healthy way with your life partner, how to view life partnership from a very committed and loving frame of mind. All of those are ways in which we ready ourselves. I knew that Eric was very much in a state of readiness when he, very early on in our courtship, he began buying a copy for himself and a copy for myself, books on marriage counseling, books on relationship, how to have successful communication. And he was very, very serious about reading it every night. We would go through the chapters. We would bring up the things during our nightly phone calls that were of most interest to us, that really kind of was striking to us, that we thought was valuable. So we spent so much time early in our courtship talking about marriage. We spent so much time talking about the type of marriage we had, and we were asking each other very profound questions about how we were going to relate to one another in marriage, and how we view marriage, and what we wanted the purpose of the marriage to be. And that's how I knew he had a level of readiness that in some ways, though I thought I was ready, I realized that I hadn't thought about certain things, because it had been almost 7 years since I had been, in a relationship, and since my divorce. And so I was astounded by Eric's ability to conceptualize marriage, and his he was just so excited and getting himself prepared in so many ways during our courtship that, it was really very touching, and it was very exciting, but it also allowed me to build confidence in him and to be very comfortable with him, and knowing that he is doing the work and putting in the work to be a very good husband. So I hope this was as exciting or insightful to you as it was for me, going through these 9 tips in terms of what to pray for in terms of a future spouse. I just thought this is phenomenal advice. And if you liked this video, please do likes, give me some thumbs up here, and maybe subscribe, share it with friends who are currently dating with purpose. And if you are looking for more information as a woman on how to position yourself mindset-wise and otherwise for preparing yourself for a very positive dating experience, and particularly single mothers out here who may have been out of the dating scene for some time, and you're wanting to dip your toe in, but you want to do it the right way, and you want a successful experience with it so that you can truly meet the man that you most desire and begin to build a successful relationship and marriage. Definitely look into my online dating course that I have. It is a private Facebook group, and we go through several modules and several steps. It's all live videos, or excuse me, some are recorded videos, and then the last 2 are live videos, as well as it's a community of women who are really excited and positive about creating positive outcomes, and they just no longer want to waste time in this dating, wild west that's out there, because it can be a real mess. But I was able to perfect a mindset and a technique that allowed me to position myself to write an excellent bio that really defined who I am and what I was looking for, as well as how to vet throughout the process of being on an online app, to taking it to texting, to taking it to your dates, the questions to ask, and how not to waste your time and to give away your precious energy to those who seek to waste your time. So if you're interested in that, I'll definitely put the link below to more information on my exclusive online dating package that will really give you the successful mindset as well as the confidence to really, truly set your purpose and your goals, and then to reach them. So again, this is Leah Love. Thank you so much for joining me for this brief discussion. And if you definitely like talking about marriage, femininity, blended families, homeschooling, mindset shifting, all of the things that really help to enhance a fabulous wife's life, or a soon-to-be fabulous wife life, then definitely, click on that subscribe button. I'd love for you to join the family. It has been growing, and we're just having a great time and great discussions on Facebook as well as here. So I hope to see you again on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.